Okay, Joe, another frustrating performance and result. What did you think of the first half, especially?
Yeah, I'm really deflated, to be honest. That is, it's our worst performance of the season by a way. I think that the first 35 minutes of the game is a total disgrace, and typically we would take collective responsibility on that. Coaches, players, staff, the club, whatever. But I just think today that I think the players have to really have a look at themselves. Really, you could tell that the writing was on the wall really from the way that we approached the game from the warm up, and I think it's very comfortable, very complacent. And I don't know whether that's because, like me and JT said, we're making it a bit easy for players. We're trying to trust players and give players love, and we've got a long-term approach, and maybe that gives people an air of sort of thinking they're going to be here for ages and they're comfortable. But yeah, I just feel really sorry for the people that from Dunstable that have come to watch, from AFC that have come to watch the game today, because that isn't an accurate representation of what we're about. That's not an accurate representation of where we're trying to go, and it needs to change. It needs to change quickly. Credit to Aylesbury. They probably could have been 4-0 up in the first half an hour. I think she's made 2 or 3 top saves. Like he's clawed a couple out the top corner. And yeah, but we were a mile off them. We were 5-6 yards off people. It looked like we were just happy we were just mannequins. We were just mannequins. There was nothing about us. There was no, and what frustrates you the most is that in those periods, there's been another period, same against Kings Langley for half an hour, where it went bad and it goes bad quickly because there's not enough people that are trying to solve the problems or do something about it. It's so evidently below par, and too many people on the pitch accept it.
Yeah.
And then it ultimately just falls to the coaches to try and solve it at half time. But by half time, it's too late because you're 2-0 down. And then the second half is a completely different game because they come out with a bit more purpose, a bit more of a clear idea, and they're a little bit hurting from the first half. And me and JT get into them a little bit. But, you know, they had a game plan, didn't they, Aylesbury? You know that you give them a 2-0 lead, they're going to sit in and they're going to take it. And yeah, you know, as frustrating as it is, credit to them, because we had a little spell where after we scored the first one, which is the cutback and it goes in, you think we might get back into this. We got ahead of steam, but they got bodies behind the ball. They worked hard on that. At any level of football, that's tough to play against 10, 11 players behind the ball. So it's just a really disappointing day. I feel as annoyed, as down that I've felt in a football game for a long time, because of the manner in which we approached it. And there was I want to swear, there was tumbleweeds going across that pitch in the first half because it was so casual and half-assed. And yeah, we have to look at that. We have to look at that. Maybe the personnel's not right. Maybe there's something in the dressing room that's not right. I've said all this stuff to the boys, so I've got no problem saying it to you. You know, we have to look root and branch about what's happening, because we looked like we were getting ahead of steam 4 or 5 games. We looked like we were really getting somewhere, good momentum, loads of learning, loads of positivity, and it feels like we've plateaued in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Does it concern you about the amount of goals we're conceding in the first 15, 20 minutes of games?
Yeah, I mean, that's 3 against Kings Langley, 2 or 3 against Northley in the first half. 1 last week against Hadley in 10 minutes. Yeah, it's attitude, it's application, it's preparation, and some of those things aren't where they need to be. So we have to look at it, we have to address it. Yeah, it's concerning because we know that if you score the first goal, you have a much higher chance of, just statistics show that the team that scores the first goal in a game, goes on to win the game, it has much more of a higher chance of winning the game. But also it's the fact that we're allowing teams to then drop off and get behind the ball and give them something to hold on to. And yeah, look, we probably miss a number 9 as well. We probably look a little bit, we miss a number 9. We miss Ethan a little bit at the moment. I think Ethan's like bit of a fox in the box. Like, he looks like he'll nick you one or get across the defender when the ball's out wide, or he looks like he'll bounce it off. And I thought Trey done well today, to be fair to him. Yeah, he's had a 3-game suspension, so he's not going to be 100%. He done some good little bits, didn't he? Like, gets up against people, used his body well, and it wasn't for a lack of trying for Trey. It was just, I think that he needs another game under his belt before he gets back to where he was before the suspension. But yeah, we can't give teams 1 and 2 goals leads. We can't.
Do you think that Callum was a big miss for us today? I think he was.
I just spoke to Callum just now. Callum, as the captain, would be the one that will see things he doesn't like and he'll challenge people. He'll see that things are flat. He'll see that people need to be switched on, and he'll get around people to challenge people. He'll challenge people in the dressing room. He'll lift people up. He'll have a voice. He'll be a leader. He's got the courage to stick his head out and be that person. But it can't always be Cal, because it's tiring. And if Cal has to shoulder all that responsibility for the whole team in terms of all of those areas, then that's going to have a detrimental effect on his own sharpness, his own quality, and his own game. So we massively missed him today. We missed his presence. But when we know he's not there, other people have to step in those places.
I guess it's like a mentality thing as well. With each young group of players, they get on the higher than
Yeah, I do. I just don't like. I totally agree with that. I totally agree that the mentality was wrong today going into the game, and the mentality for the first 45 minutes was way off it. But I don't like to give people the excuse and say it's because players are young, because they've had ample opportunity now. They've been here for 3 months and they know what's required of them, and we're working so hard twice a week, and it's day in and the standards are high, and they know what we want. It's just, yeah, I don't think it's an age thing. I think it's just, yeah, I don't know. I can't put my finger on it right now, to be totally honest, which is annoying. I think it's just too many people today turned up with the wrong attitude.
Yeah. Okay, we've got another game on Saturday against Biggleswade. Always good football inside there.
Yeah, and we got to stop this quickly. We got to stop this slide quickly, and we're not going to change on our principles in terms of how we want to try and play and how we want to do things and how we want to, control games with the ball. We're not going to just change that and just go, fuck, pardon my language. We're not just going to go, right, let's just get it in the box as early as possible. But the mentality through this week, we've got to see a significant response. The dynamic, the social dynamic, the psychological dynamic in and around the training ground, in and around pre-match, on the football pitch when things are going well and things are bad, that has to change. People have to learn massively from this and from last week, and they have to implement. They have to think in there. They have to be thinking now, what can I do to add more to the team? Yeah. Because I'll go back to this. Is that the club, the management staff, the support staff, everyone else that puts in 20, 25 hours on top of their day jobs, all of the effort that goes in, all of the emails, all of the meetings, all of the stuff to make sure we've got the best kit, the best facilities, the best training time, the best physio, the best support staff, all that time. I don't think the players have matched that energy today. And I do really think there needs to be some responsibility taken and a big response from the players to show the club that that's a one-off.
Yeah. All right, Joe, thanks for your thoughts, mate. Cheers,
mate.